Welcome everybody to episode 22 of the Triathlon Preview Show. We're back again for another weekend.
Hey everybody, we got a slower weekend of not slower, but less racing this weekend, let's say.
Yeah, last weekend was packed with a bunch of action, Ironman 70.3 and ITU. So this week we only got basically one, maybe two races on the circuit this weekend. So we'll get started pretty fast for you.
Yeah, not a ton to talk about, but there's some good people racing. We'll go with New Orleans first, right?
Yeah, we'll start with New Orleans. I guess give us a little information on the course, Emily.
Okay, so the swim last year was really fast. It was like 18 minutes for the guys and 20 minutes for the girls. I'm sorry, women. So I have a feeling it's a little short. Hopefully they switch that up, but it's kind of a weird shape. Like you just make an M. So you're just kind of going back and forth in a little marina. And last year it was wetsuit legal. And then the bike is just an out and back flat. Could be windy since it's right there along the coast. And then the run is the same. It can definitely be humid over there in New Orleans.
Yeah, so I've raced. They do an Olympic there, and same race director, same area, basically the same course. And from the people that I know that went to the race last year, it was like they just didn't move the buoys out far enough. So they basically did the Olympic course last year. Is kind of what my friends had told me that did the race. So they just basically, yeah, like you said, they do this little like zigzag inside the marina, and they just need to move the buoys further out on the turns.
Well, hopefully they remedy that for the weekend, since the swimmers already get shafted a little bit with the percentage of the swim for everything else. So hopefully they make it a few extra minutes longer.
All right, so start with the men. The start list is long-ish, less than Texas, but it has some names on it, but the names aren't too deep.
Yeah, I think so. You and I were talking. Think Brent McMahon. He was sick last week in Texas and then flew back to Maui. That's kind of where he bases his training this time of year. So think he's probably out for this race. I don't think he's someone who's going to fly to Texas, fly back to Maui, and then fly all the way back to New Orleans. So chances are McMahon's not racing. And Starkowitz raced Texas, did pretty well there, ran much better than Puerto Rico, and then went and rode like 140 miles on Tuesday or something. So he's going to be nice and fresh for this race. But I'm sure, as only Starkey can, he will try to crush the bike. We'll just see if his legs are willing to play.
Yeah, he actually looked pretty good. I just think I just think there was better runners there, and he didn't have enough lead on him. But he actually looked pretty decent on the run as far as what I saw. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, honestly, like he can run pretty well. He's definitely muscles it, but a few years ago, Eagle Man, he had a really good run. I think held off Tim O'Donnell. So it just depends on how his legs are feeling after he did Puerto Rico half, and then a few weeks later he did Texas, and then he rode really long Tuesday, and now he's going to come race New Orleans. So I guess the question is, I was chatting with Matt Charbat, is he there to participate, or is he there to race with his, or does he have his kind of eyes on Texas? So, and the same thing could be said for Andy Potts. He's preparing for Ironman Texas, is what he told me in Oceanside. So is he going to be kind of tired a little bit for this race if he's doing big miles?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I know Starkowitz said that Puerto Rico race, he went into that race and he was going to do that run walk. And I think I mentioned that last week. And last week it looks like he ran most of the run. So he might just be trying to build towards that Ironman, and like you said, so pushing through these races tired, but getting himself some run base for that Ironman that he has coming up.
Yeah, I think if you look at the start list, Matt Charbat is probably going to be the freshest coming in. He's just racing 70.3s until Kona this year, so he might have a little bit more speed. And he only lost to Potts by 40 seconds last year, and knowing Matt, that kind of would piss him off. So I think he'll probably want to turn that around. You also had TJ Tollickson on on the start list. Don't know where he is fitness wise, or if he's preparing for Ironman Texas. I know he switched over and is working with QT2 systems. So it'll be interesting to see what his kind of race fitness is. He hasn't raced yet this year. So don't know there. But he'll be out of the water near the front.
Yeah, we should have a good group that comes out of the water. I mean, Starkowitz, Charbot, and Potts should all definitely be there, I would think, in the coming out of the swim. And then I'm interested in Taylor Reed because he crashed at Oceanside, right?
Yeah, I heard a photographer or pedestrian or something stepped out in front of him like just before T2. So he crashed right there. I think his bike got pretty messed up. I looked at his Twitter. He's got a new bike. So that's good, but he seems to be in good spirits. I mean, he's someone at Mont Tremblant last year, the 70.3, he was racing, it was him, Lionel Sanders, and Jesse Thomas. It came down to the wire. They were all running together. So he's definitely strong. And I'm sure he's motivated, especially kind of after a shitty start to the year. So I think it could be good, and he definitely races really, really hard.
Yeah. Another thing that just stands out to me is this start list compared to Texas. It looks like it could be easier to get onto the money, especially the last couple spots here than somewhere else, especially if you have a couple of the big names or just one of the big names drop out, like you did at Texas. So somebody could sneak onto that podium maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'll probably have someone that, maybe Jeremy Jerkowitz, he did Texas, Thomas Gerlach, they could kind of slide in there for sixth place. I think it's $1,000. That Arturo Garza, that name sticks out to me for some reason. I might be thinking of someone else. But he might be someone who gets in there. Jake Rayner, Patrick Brady. I think those two have been training quite a bit in Claremont, Florida, maybe with Hella Fredrickson. So they might be fit and ready to go. And who knows, there could be someone that we don't even, that just kind of has a great race and gets on the podium, so to speak.
So who are you going to pick for the win for 70.3?
Well, I know Potts was pretty pissed after Oceanside. He doesn't like to get fourth. So I think even with tired legs, he's going to be pretty motivated. I think Matt Charbot is pretty motivated. He's kind of been moving up, third in Monterey. I'm going to go Charbot, Reed, Potts.
Interesting. That is very interesting.
Yeah, I know. I'm picking against Potts. It's like not a good idea, but I don't know. I just feel like his 70.3, like I think he's looking a little bit beyond that and is getting ready for Texas. And I heard he rides on the trainer 6 days a week, somewhere between 3 hours and 3 hours and 45 minutes. Never shorter, never longer than those parameters. So he's on the trainer 18, 19 hours a week.
Wow. Yeah, I'd get bored.
He reads.
All right. Well,
definitely.
Reed. I mean, I think Potts is going to win. I think Charbot's going to be a close second. And then third, I don't know. I think it'll be somebody interesting. I'm not sure what Reed, how bad he is, or hurt, or if he's not hurt, just bruised up or whatnot. So I'll leave that third open.
Yeah, you can't count out Starkey. Like he'll muscle it out. It doesn't matter that he rode 140 miles on Tuesday. He'll
be first off the bike. It'll just depend on how many people are going to pass him on the run. So I mean, how many people are going to run through Starkey, and it depends if it's hot or So we'll see.
Yep, it'll be interesting. All right, women. I feel like you kind of got a couple good people, and then you're going to have some people that have a chance of making a little cash.
Yeah, this would. I'd rather be here than Texas. I think, even though the start list fell off a lot at Texas, 70.3, just because a lot of names went off the last couple of days. But I think Sarah is definitely the clear favorite here, and then I don't even think we know of who might or might not show up for a couple of the other people.
Yeah, I mean, Amanda Stevens has been on pretty much every list since the middle of March. So don't know there. Caitlin Snow, I think I said this last week. She did a Xterra race in Costa Rica. Don't know if she's showing up for this. I don't know how kind of race fit she is. Laura Bennett is there. I checked her Twitter today, and she did like a Q&A at a local fitness club. She is there ready to race. Erin Spittler, I think, is someone to look out for. She's not a very good swimmer, but she's a solid cyclist runner. So she might run up there and finish, fourth, fifth, sixth. Sarah Camito, number 63, could do well. And then Celine Sure. She is a not Team TVB athlete. They don't exist anymore. She is coached by Brett Sutton, and she usually races kind of over in Asia. And she's a strong swim biker, so she might be up there too off the bike if she's there. I tried to get a feel for that on her Instagram, and I couldn't tell. But I did figure out that Manuel Kug, he might be her boyfriend.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, start list is definitely lacking. But not much to say. I mean, Sarah hopefully will have a good race and she'll cruise to a win. And then, if Stevens is there, she could make it semi-interesting. And like you said, we don't even know if Snow's going to be there either. Bennett, I mean, she could do decent, but it seems like she always seems to fade towards the end sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Laura is probably even if Stevens is there, I think Laura is your pick first out of the water. And so Sarah will be running her down. But Sarah's so strong on the bike, I think she's got the goods to probably catch Laura before the end of the bike. And then I don't think Laura can run with Sarah. Last year, Sarah got a flat and still managed to run her way to the win. So if she has kind of a mechanical free race, I think she'll do pretty well. I know I talked to her. She's been doing some big miles for Texas, but I'm sure she'll be ready to go. So my pick is Sarah, then Laura Bennett. And if that Celine girl, number 62, shows up, I think she might finish on the podium, or Erin Spittler. Those are my picks.
I'm hoping some no names go up there. Maybe we'll have some no name. Nikki Luce is going to run her way to the podium.
What about, Kelly Phil now? I believe she's on Team Timex, maybe, or she was. She's a really good runner. I think she ran for Duke, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, then that's my pick, actually. I changed. I'm going with Kelly Phil now.
So she's someone, I mean, we'll see. Or I like the name Lottie, maybe number 66, if we just go by names we like. Lottie Harari. So, yeah, this could be a race for someone to make a name for themselves.
Exactly. I mean, you got to make your name sometimes. So why not, why not today?
Exactly. So we'll see. All right. So Cairns International.
Yeah, there's a race over across the water that we have this weekend.
Yeah, so it's kind of a 2-kilometer swim, so a teeny bit longer than a half, and then the bike is 80 kilometers, just under 50 miles, and then the run is 16 kilometers, so 9.9 miles. So kind of a little less than a half. And you have people like Leanda Cave, Michelle Vesterby, Andreas Raylert. Who else am I missing?
Bart's there?
Yep, Bart Arnouts. He's not going to have quite as much time to catch up, but I'm sure that the bike course is technical, so maybe that'll help him out.
Yeah, it looked actually like the swim was kind of confusing when I took a brief look at it and look at it too long. But last year there was some real Kinley, Sebastian was there, and Jan was both there last year, and they actually lost here last year.
Right. I remember who won. Do you remember?
Didn't even, honestly, I didn't think I even recognized his name.
I think I feel like I remember that, and I think it was someone that like Sebastian had been like training with. So that guy had a good race. Sebastian is down in Tucson training if you follow him on Instagram or Twitter. So he's getting ready for St. George.
All right. Well, we won't blabber on too much then, since we covered the main race. But we definitely have some good races coming up. I mean, it is a short weekend, here with only one race in the United States. But They're gonna kick on high gear here.
Yeah, I mean, we have Gold Coast next weekend, St. Anthony's is next weekend as well, and then you get into Wildflower, Ironman Australia, then we got St. George, then Ironman Texas. So definitely some things picking up. And then it seems like it's so close. We have Yokohama, which is kind of the final Olympic qualification race for all the countries to get their points, and then like for the US to make their final selection. So that'll be interesting. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely some exciting races coming up. Some pro championships, and ITU is always exciting. So can't wait for those races.
Yep. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're
Yeah.
keeping it short this week.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.